My name is Huishuacha, and this morning I woke up at Caycuse camp. It just so happens that I was here today. I've been liaising with many camps on the ground, people supporting these actions, and folks that have been on these territories and at these camps since the inception of these blockades, blocking teal zones and blocking forestry industry from having access to stolen land and stolen territories and our relations. This morning, May 17th at 8:15 a.m., the Caycuse camp in unceded Dididat territory was visited by the DLT representing the police, the RCMP, and there was communications between the police liaisons witnessed by the legal observers at Caycuse camp that the police, the RCMP, were giving 24 hours notice to moving in to arrest and remove people from the Caycuse camp, blocking industry from old growth logging just behind us. There are many reasons to be communicating right now what is happening here. And first of all, it is that we are in a remote, out of service area where now there is an exclusion zone for people to access information, access the people on the ground, and also for media not to be able to access this area where the police are threatening to remove people and arrest people in this specific arrestable zone. The police, the DLT, it was communicated that folks within this specific arrestable zone, no matter if you are peacefully protesting or breaking the injunction, will be forcibly removed and arrested. This specifically goes against Section 3 of the court order injunction that people are allowed to lawfully and peacefully protest against old growth logging. And so for folks, specifically the legal observers and the police liaisons, to be threatened with arrest despite them not breaking this injunction is alarming. Also, further through this communication, it was made very clear that there was no guarantee for any of this information to be relayed outside of this camp. Folks at camp, me as someone who's been helping with media and relations, have been trying to communicate outside to folks that this exclusion zone is set up here. There are two checkpoints. The first one is at Caycuse, Maine, and McClure, Maine, coming from Honeymoon Bay, Lake Cowichan area. The second checkpoint is at McClure, Maine, so both access roads to Caycuse camp are completely blocked off. There is no guarantee that press will be allowed to cross this exclusion zone to be able to document and report on what is happening here at the camp. There is no guarantee that folks that are witnessing and being able to stand outside of these zones will be able to see what is happening and the type of enforcement units that will be removing people from the camp. There have been two meetings today, one at 8:15 and one at noon, and none of these questions have been cleared up. There is no certainty for folks that are legally allowed to observe and legally allowed to report and document these events for them to be here. There is risk of arrest, and there is no guarantee that they will be safe from that type of force being used by the RCMP. It is now on folks to disseminate this information and to put pressure on those types of forces that are creating this exclusion zone, which has been deemed illegal. It is important now more than ever for folks to be able to share this information, to be able to question why this way of enforcement is being used here. It is integral to safety, integral to the movement going forward, integral to direct action that the right bodies, the representatives, are held accountable for these types of actions that people pay for, that people are responsible to. It is necessary that these messages be carried out. So, this is now a call for folks to go to those checkpoints, and for press and for media to go to those checkpoints to ask why and to demand that folks are allowed to peacefully protest. Folks are allowed to document this protest, that this is not a criminal act to stand in the way of industry, to stand in the way of colonialism, and where this is stolen land and the government, the RCMP, and no other jurisdiction can supersede the land itself. So please, go to these checkpoints. Their coordinates will be available online. If you're willing to protest, if you're willing to document, and if you're willing to share that message, go to the Caycuse, Maine and McClure, Maine checkpoint. And for everyone else, please make sure this message is shared widely. There have been questions about what it feels like on the ground, what the direction of the action will be taken, and what this really means overall. Folks will not be deterred from this type of threat from the RCMP, this threat from the government, that this is not the way to act, this is not the way that we can make change, and you cannot be deterred by that either. The support for this movement around ending old growth, the support for the movement that is talking about the colonial legacies of access to territories, those conversations are just building. It is on all of us to take forward this information, the spirit, and this type of action to ensure that the change that we need to achieve to have a future is met. And so this is for you, and this is for everyone that you know, and this is for folks that you know have been supporting this type of future, to take it upon yourself to do that research, share that information, and listen to the voices of the generation that is going to be coming.